This is the sixth special consideration and the last one, and it's what communication devices or services do we need to consider that the child might require? It would be a piece of equipment that would be used to maintain or improve the capability of the child, their functioning, and allowing them to become more independent. Washington WACs, Washington Administrative Code, say that school district must ensure proper functioning of hearing aids and external components of cochlear implants, so the speech processor. This would mean buying a personal FM system or having a sound field system in the classroom or a portable speaker, which is not as usable, but if every classroom had a sound field or a personal FM system, that would help ensure a child being able to hear a teacher above the noise of the classroom at no matter what distance the teacher is away from, how far the teacher is from the student. That equipment needs to be checked daily and made sure that it's in working order. All of that is part of what the WAC says. Also consider having a microphone for students to use when they're in a group doing a cooperative learning type activity. Maybe there's 3 groups in the room, a child with an FM system that has a microphone, that the teacher has a receiver for the microphone that the teacher is wearing, can only hear that teacher. And there's 3 groups going in the room. So there needs to be another way for them to hear the children at their table. And that would mean another microphone that the kids could pass around, or a microphone that sit within the center of the table. If it's a large group discussion, then a microphone needs to be passed around because they can't hear those kids. They're not over on the teacher's microphone. How do you troubleshoot the technology, and who is checking it daily? There needs to be somebody designated to make sure that the FM system is working, the hearing aids are working, and the cochlear implant is working. There's a video on wsdsonline.org website that has an audiologist checking all of that equipment and shows you exactly what to do and how to check it. Then suppose you find out something isn't working that day. Then what do you do? There has to be a plan to troubleshoot it. You can call the company that makes the particular piece of equipment, like Phonak. It's often a Phonak piece of equipment. You can call them. If you have an audiologist in your district, that would be a perfect person. And then in addition to that, if you can't fix it right then, what do you do? What's your backup plan? A child who uses an FM system needs an FM system, and they can't sit in class not having one if they can't hear the teacher without it. So you have to have a backup plan. Or if they lose the boots at recess or wherever they may be, there has to be some backup plan if that happens. Consider access to peers. That's what I was talking about when a child isn't over a microphone. You have to have a pass-around microphone, or the teacher hands them their microphone. Access to announcements. This is an important one, and sometimes overlooked. Announcements that come in the morning that say, the chess club meets at 3 o'clock today. The soccer team is going to be away at such and such a school district. All of that information is critical to the child that's deaf or hard of hearing. And sometimes people will say, oh, it's not that important, or it's a repeat from yesterday, or, you know, it's not that big a deal. Ask your neighbor. I would want to tell you that that is critical information because it's vocabulary for one. It gives them opportunities to know what social activities are going on at school that they might be able to participate in. Have it either printed, have the interpreter interpret it every single morning, even if it's a repeat. It's a good thing to repeat, but have that, make sure that that information is given to the child, no matter what. Another thing is, as long as we're talking about this, that comes to my mind is people who can sign should always sign in front of a child that has a hearing loss. You should never have a classroom where the interpreter is using English, spoken English, talking to somebody who can sign, that the deaf child should be able to oversee that communication, because all of that information is good information for children to understand, and they benefit from that, overseeing that communication. the other thing that isn't listed here, but make sure that the teachers have training on how to use the equipment, when to turn it off, where to wear the microphone, where to leave it so it charges overnight, how to take care of it, how to clean it. They all need instruction on how to maintain that equipment. So what's the action plan that you might develop? How do you provide noise reduction in a classroom? If you have hard file cabinets, hard-sided things like that, you can drape flannel so that there's no reverberation. The sound hits that flannel and dies. It doesn't shoot back across the room. There's an app on your phone. I have one on my phone that reads the decibel level of a classroom, and you can, just out of curiosity, all the kids should know, oh, this is interesting. It is getting way too noisy in here. Let's check it. And use that as a way to monitor the noise level in the classroom. I've seen in some classrooms a traffic light. You can get them on Amazon, a traffic light that has a red, a yellow, and a green light. And you can program it for the level of noise you want to make the light brighten it. So if it's a yellow light, it's so many decibels. If it's a red light, it's so many decibels and too loud. That way the children can monitor themselves. They see, oh, we're at yellow, we better quiet down. That's another way. Visual noise, having things hanging from the ceiling. Lots of teachers have things hanging from the ceiling, which is great. It's fine. It makes a fun kind of interesting classroom, but be careful that there's not so much there that it creates visual distraction and what we call visual noise. An assistive communication service would be something like a note taker, either a remote note taker that's at another location, but the classroom is mic'd and they are typing things for a student to read on a computer or laptop, or somebody that is sitting in the classroom using something like Typewell or Cart or something and typing for that student. It appears on their laptop. And would be a communication service. It's something to help children become more independent, is what the assistive communication devices and services is all about.